la Universidad La Salle Bajío.
Agradecemos su presencia. A continuación, les invitamos a ponerse de pie para entonar nuestro himno lasallista.
Lasallistas, fieles lasallistas, combatir por nuestro ideal. Sea la base de vuestras conquistas una sólida liga fraternal. De recuerdos nuestros cultivemos, con amor el íntimo partir. Y hechos uno la gloria cimentemos, de un más alto vivir feliz. Obtendremos pronto en el futuro una fuerte y gran superación, empeñados todos en un duro, colectivo ímpetu de acción, colectivo esfuerzo en el que sabe cada quien que ser es combatir, en la unión hallando sabia clave de mejor y bello porvenir. Y así nuestra liga noble por artes de crecerá, inconmovible alto roble que triunfe del huracán. Lasallistas, fieles lasallistas, combatir por nuestro ideal. Sea la base de vuestras conquistas una sólida liga fraternal. De recuerdos nuestros cultivemos, con amor el íntimo jardín. Y hechos uno la gloria cimentemos, de un más alto vivir feliz.
Muchas gracias. Pueden tomar asiento.
A continuación, queremos hacer una pausa para agradecer a las instituciones y empresas que hacen posible la realización de este evento el día de hoy. Ellos son
Universidad La Salle Bajío,
Carnicería La Luz,
Galan Serigrafía, Textiles y DTF,
Neurología Neurodurán, atención neurológica a infantes y adolescentes,
Gerpro Inoxidables,
Panadería La Antigua,
La Bufalona Restaurante,
Panadería La Abuela Chambona,
Panadería Moca 21,
Restaurante Los Clarinetes,
Inceptio Innovation Mindset,
Automotriz, Automotive Servicio y Soluciones,
Vestidos Dressology,
Consultorios Sumac,
Restaurante Capital Food.
Fátima Sugel, terapeuta emocional.
Muchas gracias a todos ustedes.
Tiene la palabra la maestra Beatriz Alejandra González Bustamante, coordinadora del Centro de Idiomas del Campus Juan Alonso de Torres, quien nos dará un breve mensaje.
Muchas gracias. Buenos días a todas y todos los presentes. Reciban un afectuoso saludo las autoridades que hoy nos acompañan. La maestra María del Socorro Durán González, vicerrectora académica de nuestra universidad, la maestra Marta Elena Bermúdez Funes, la directora general de nuestras preparatorias de la Universidad de La Salle Bajío, la maestra Claudia Donají Martínez González, directora académica del Campus Américas, la maestra Lorena Edith Nava Íñiguez, directora académica del Campus Juan Alonso de Torres, y también la representación que viene del campus, de la dirección del campus San Francisco del Rincón, en representación de la maestra Juana Araceli Carmona Cortés. Muchísimas gracias. Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Estimadas coordinaciones de idiomas, jefaturas académicas, a nuestros patrocinadores, a nuestros invitados especiales, gracias a todas y todos por su presencia. Me gustaría iniciar mi mensaje de bienvenida pidiendo un momento para que el comité organizador, que son los chicos que traen las playeras del felino y TEDx Prepas La Salle Bajío, los oradores, y todos los que se han involucrado en la participación activa y organización de este evento miren a su alrededor y puedan disfrutar de este instante. A lo mejor este instante o este momento puede parecer un poco fugaz, pero representa la suma de muchos esfuerzos colectivos. Esto es el resultado del trabajo de todo un año. 365 días en los que la chispa de una idea se convirtió en una llamarada ardiente que hoy está lista para ser compartida. Como lo dice el lema de TEDx, Ideas Worth Spreading. Y claro que las ideas de los 8 jóvenes que estamos a punto de presenciar valen todísima la pena ser escuchadas, por todo el público reunido de manera presencial, pero también por todas las personas, compañeros, amigos, familiares que nos siguen en la transmisión en vivo. Y en unas semanas más quiero que sepan que estas ideas podrán ser escuchadas por personas alrededor del mundo. Entonces, sepan que todo el esfuerzo de este año de trabajo ha valido la pena. Esto es el fruto de su trabajo. Gracias al apoyo del presupuesto de la Universidad de la Salle Bajío y a la plataforma internacional TEDx. Hoy, a nombre de todo el comité organizador, agradezco profundamente el impulso y el apoyo que nos ha brindado la Universidad de la Salle Bajío para hacer de este evento de proyección internacional una realidad. Y por supuesto, también agradezco a todos los patrocinadores que se han sumado con todo el esfuerzo para hacer esto posible. Además, me gustaría dirigirme al talentoso grupo de jóvenes del comité organizador, que guiados por sus profesores han puesto un esfuerzo constante e incansable para ir desde el total desconocimiento de cómo organizar un evento hasta estar detrás de la logística de todo lo que ven el día de hoy. Todo lo que los asistentes van a poder disfrutar durante las pláticas, durante el coffee break e incluso van a ser parte de lo que va a ser subido hasta las plataformas. Y sin duda me parece un aprendizaje que se adquiere fuera de las aulas. Estamos potencializando aquellas llamadas habilidades blandas, porque volviendo a mi punto anterior, esto es el resultado de todo un esfuerzo colectivo. Maestros, alumnos, coordinaciones, direcciones, jefaturas, de incluso hasta la universidad, imagen y comunicación. Tenemos a personas dentro de la universidad que están apoyando a nuestros jóvenes para impulsar esas habilidades. Yo durante meses he sido testigo del despliegue de todas las habilidades que han tenido este maravilloso grupo de jóvenes, desde crear toda la imagen de TEDx de este año, que lo han visto por supuesto en redes sociales, en Facebook, en Instagram, en TikTok, en el canal que se creó de YouTube. El diseño de los gafetes que traen, todo es obra de ellos, las playeras incluso. También hemos tenido el esfuerzo colectivo de ser pioneros en este primer evento de TEDx con oradores de todos los campus y hemos platicado o he sido testigo de cómo elaboramos el plan para hacer los castings, cómo dar seguimiento e incluso hasta la prueba de sonido del día de ayer, que los chicos estaban muy nerviosos incluso. Yo los he visto ser creativos, los he visto encontrar soluciones cuando nos encontramos ciertos obstáculos de cualquier índole y también los he visto sacar sus mejores habilidades de negociación para conseguir patrocinios, convenciendo a múltiples empresas de impulsar estas iniciativas de la juventud para la juventud. Y quisiera decir que nos dimos cuenta en el camino que solo, a lo mejor, como se dice, se puede llegar más rápido, pero juntos vamos a llegar más lejos. A los oradores, quisiera invitarles a atesorar este bien tan preciado. Me gustaría compartirles, cuando yo era adolescente, hace algunos años, las opiniones de la juventud no eran tomadas tan en serio, justificadas porque eran inexpertas o no eran válidas. Pero hoy, afortunadamente, gracias al apoyo de todas estas plataformas y empresas, esto está cambiando. Y yo personalmente me siento muy honrada por tener la oportunidad de ser parte de ello. So, dear speakers, never forget that your word is valuable, that your ideas are important, that your voice needs to be spread. And someday, with enough effort, your ideas will be met. So this is your moment to shine. Speakers, organizing committee, make it count. Thank you very much.
Agradecemos sus palabras, maestra.
Solicitamos a todos los presentes permanecer en sus lugares, ya que estamos a punto de comenzar con nuestro evento TEDx oficial.
Les recordamos que, por respeto a los oradores, no se permite la entrada y salida de recinto una vez iniciada la charla de cada uno de ellos, por lo que se les solicita amablemente permanecer en sus asientos.
Igualmente, les hacemos saber que en unos momentos comenzará la transmisión en vivo, así como la grabación de las charlas que se presentan esta mañana, por lo que les pedimos permanecer sentados en sus asientos, mantener sus teléfonos celulares en modo silencio y evitar consultarlos durante las charlas a fin de interrumpir este proceso.
Esperamos que todos ustedes disfruten del evento, deseando que esta sea una experiencia memorable.
Buenos días.
Indivisa Manen.
Lo unido permanece.
Ahora, tomaremos un momento para ponerles en contexto sobre lo que es un TEDx y su propósito.
Ladies and gentlemen, teachers and students, speakers and staff, and all of those who are watching us on streaming, please be welcome to the second edition of this TED Talk Prepas La Salle Youth here at Campus Juan Alonso de Torres.
We are truly excited to have you join us for this special occasion, an event where inspiration flourishes and leadership takes center stage.
TEDx Youth is a space where creativity, motivation, and leadership intersect, providing a powerful platform for sharing ideas that can spark change. Today marks a significant moment in our journey, a moment of transition, reflection, and renewal.
As we come together, let us take a moment to acknowledge the road that has led us here, a path shaped by dedication, passion, and an unwavering commitment to growth and progress.
Each speaker offers a unique outlook on the future, and together their insights create a mosaic of ideas that inspire and challenge us.
This event is more than just a gathering. It is a celebration of diverse thought shared by knowledge and the power of collaboration.
It is through coming together across generations that we create meaningful impact and pave the way for a better tomorrow.
Before we begin, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to all those who made this event possible.
To our sponsors and supporters, your generosity and dedication have been instrumental in bringing this vision to life.
Thank you for believing in the power of ideas and the potential of our youth. To give you a deeper understanding of this event's vision and purpose, please enjoy this short video.
Welcome to something special. Welcome to TEDx. This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theaters, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
Let me introduce you the first speaker. Today's speaker is a sixth-semester high school student at the Juan Alonso de Torres campus, specializing in the chemical biological area.
However, that hasn't limited his passion for researching social issues, his activism for human rights, or his enormous heart. This talk is not just meant to inform, but to unsettle, to shake off our indifference and demand action.
Please welcome Eduardo Díaz Valencia, Modern Slavery in Mexico, an urgent message to the youth.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy and grateful to be here with all of you. First, let's take a moment to think about this slavery. When we hear the word slavery, the first thing that comes to our mind okay. Let's think about the slavery. The first thing that comes to our mind when we hear the word slavery is something like this. This image represents the most well-known and clear example of what slavery actually is. Slavery has formed part of our history and our society since the birth of the first civilizations. And it was crucial for the rise of the most powerful empires that once ruled the world. The abolition of this slavery represents a huge achievement in human history. It set the beginning of a new era, an era of equality and fairness for all, or at least that is what we think. However, slavery continues to be part of our society even today. My name is Eduardo Diaz. Let's talk about the modern slavery. But what is the modern slavery? Modern slavery is a term that refers to all types of exploitation in which an individual finds itself and cannot reject or abandon due to threats, violence, or power abuse. It's basically the same as the slavery definition. A slave is a person who lacks freedom. Slavery is an excessive subjugation where a person forces another obligations or work that cannot abandon because that person is subjugated by threats, violence, or power abuse. As such, we could say that slavery hasn't disappeared. It has just camouflaged itself. It has just mutated like a virus and spread across every continent, infecting every sovereign nation, and Mexico is not the exception. And like the virus it has different variants, different forms, like the forced labor, labor exploitation, child labor, human trafficking, and many others. Today, I will focus mainly on the most recurrent ones in our country. So, it is estimated that in Mexico, 850,000 people are victims of modern slavery. 850,000 people that lives under different situations and conditions like the ones I just mentioned. And to understand this, we need to navigate, we need to dive into a completely unknown ocean, unknown for all of us, and being discovering each one of its mysteries. So, let's begin. Let's dive into it. When we talk about the labor exploitation, we usually refer to countries in which this issue is institutionalized, and we completely avoid looking at our own country. In Mexico, the labor exploitation is real, and it's a large-scale issue. In every corner of our country, there are stories of men and women who work tirelessly, giving their lives to maintain this country, and yet they remain trapped into a cycle of misery and hopelessness. How is it possible that in a nation so rich in resources, in culture, in humanity, such indignities at work still exist? How can we accept that thousands of workers receive wages that don't even allow them to feed their families? Think of the farmer who under the scorching sun harvests the crops that reach our tables, and yet he cannot buy the very food he grows. Or thinking a textile factory worker who works day after day sewing garments that she or he will never be able to afford. Or thinking a construction worker who builds majestic buildings and lives in a cardboard house. Besides the attention and besides the regulations, the impact of labor exploitation in our country remains significant. Things are getting worse as we navigate deeper into this endless ocean. So, imagine, just for a moment, a 6-year-old child. His hands, instead of holding a toy, they are holding heavy tools. Instead of hearing bedtime stories, he hears orders and shouts. Instead of playing, he's working day after day without rest, without school, a proper education, without security, without laughter. Where has his childhood gone? According to a national survey on child labor in Mexico, 3.7 million children and adolescents are forced to work under inhuman conditions. Children and adolescents chained into a cruel reality, victims of poverty, victims of greed, and victims of a system that sees them as tools rather than human beings. Children and adolescents who should be playing, exploring, learning. And we are also responsible. We are responsible when we buy products without thinking about who made them. When we turn a blind eye, when we don't demand a change, we are responsible, but also we are the solution. We still need to navigate deeper into this vast ocean. So, in the heart of our communities, there's a practice that still exists and continues silencing the dreams of our girls and young women. A practice that was legally prohibited in 2019, which remains a reality, especially in communities governed by customs and traditions. The forced marriage. In 2023, in the community of Atlapexco, Hidalgo, a 19-year-old girl was jailed for refusing an arranged marriage. The local authorities, sheltering behind ancestral traditions, detained her and demanded a fine of 50,000 pesos for her release. Thanks to the intervention of the Public Security Secretariat, she was rescued and now she received comprehensive care. But like this small story, there are hundreds. The forced marriage not only robs the childhood of our girls and young women, it also exposes them to situations of violence, limits their access to education, and perpetuates cycles of poverty and inequality. And with all of this, we finally arrive into the middle of this endless ocean where no one has ever sailed before. There's nothing in the distance, only silence, and just silence. Throughout this talk, I have emphasized poverty as one of the most important factors for these modern slavery practices to happen. But why? We need to talk about the forced labor and the human trafficking. Forced labor is defined as work without the worker's consent, achieved through force, through threats or physical coercion. And the human trafficking involves the capture, transport, and exploitation of people through deceit, threats, or violence. Poverty is the perfect breeding ground for these scourges. Also, the lack of opportunities and the desperation led many to fall under the clutches of unscrupulous exploiters like the migrants, whose absence of support networks make them an easy prey for human trafficking rings. These criminal organizations operate exploiting their desperation and their need, offering them false promises of employment and security that always end in exploitation. Recent foundings in all the country have exposed the brutality in which these criminal organizations operate. Places have been found where victims of disappearances and violence were completely stripped of any opportunities for freedom. And like these cases of modern slavery, there are thousands in every region and in every state, as we can clearly see here, which highlights the urgency to strengthen the protection of the most vulnerable and try to combat this type of crimes with determination and justice. At the international level, the United Nations, through the Sustainable Goal 8.7, calls for the eradication of the forced labor, child labor, human trafficking, and many other modern slavery forms by 2030. 2030. We are in 2025, 5 years to go. I believe that this is unpredictable. In Mexico and many other countries, the situation is completely out of control. But at least the issue of modern slavery in our country is now on the radar of the United Nations. Recently, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights activated the protocol outlined in their Article 34 to boost the international cooperation in order to address modern slavery issues in our country. Especially the issue of human trafficking. This has never happened before in any other country in the world, even in those that are in war, like Afghanistan, Syria, Palestine, Ukraine. Never. Only in Mexico. And only for these issues. And I celebrate that because TikTok hashtags, TikTok videos, none of that will help us solve any of these issues. The only thing that they cause is misinformation and sensationalism. Maybe this could be the solution. We don't know. Like I said, it's unpredictable, but at least the issue of modern slavery in our country is now on the radar of the United Nations, and I celebrate that. Our real responsibility as young people is to report. Report to the Profedet, the Federal Attorney for the Defense of the Labor, by email, by phone, in person, whatever. Just report if you are a witness. Report if you are a victim of any type of exploitation. And that's the best way we can help to eradicate these issues in our country. It pains me not to offer you more options. But the truth is, there aren't any. Reporting is the only way to uphold our rights. Slavery has never disappeared. Like I said, it has just camouflaged itself. It surrounds us in the form of many inhuman practices and in the invisibility of those who suffer without a voice or rights. Every human life deserves to be free, with dignity, without chains, without fear. We cannot allow the slaves to continue existing in the 21st century. 50 million people around the world are victims of modern slavery. 850,000 Mexicans are victims of modern slavery. Modern slavery must end. And it depends on us to make that happen. Thank you so much.
The second speaker is a high school student specializing in the physical mathematical area with a strong interest in universe.
His goal is to contribute to the understanding of the causes that lead us to this point of the history.
With his topic, Choose Your Beliefs, please welcome Roberto Garcia Perez.
When I first got invited to give a speech with TED in front of all of you, I thought like, wow, this is a really big deal. And this may be important for me. This is important for me. And that really got me overthinking about it, about all the possible scenarios that could happen. And that got me anxious. So it got to a point that I began to think, well, what if it doesn't have that much meaning as I thought? If I asked every single one of you if this has a meaning by itself, or if it was just me giving the meaning to this, each one of you would tell me probably a different answer, a different perspective of this. We may say that it has it because we already know that this has a background that is important, or you may think that it doesn't really have that much impact. Well, these perspectives are meant to really help us see how we see our decision making. These decisions we made could be from our completely free will to decide what we think, what we trust, or that it is determined from something else. Let's make a little exercise. When you were invited here to be at this TED Talk, you probably thought, or free will, you freely choose to be here. You choose to be early, you choose to be late, you choose to skip work, or whatever you have chosen. Rather than just saying yes, it was probably something even more meaningful than that. Because the people who is going to present here, it may be your people you know. So maybe you weren't the ones who made the decision by your freedom to choose. Maybe it was already choose before you even thought about it, because you already have the certain background factors that make you choose what you choose before even thinking about it. So with this, we can get a perspective of if you choose everything freely by yourself and your own thinking, it was as like a path, completely different, a completely crazy path of decisions which could alter what you end up being within this other perspective, which would be that all the decisions that you made were determined by something that you already know, which would brought you here, which would be these two paths. If it's determined, it was meant to you to be here. If it was by your own free will, it was a more kind of crazy path. So with this, I want to introduce you two concepts, two kind of perspectives, which can really help you with your decision making in the everyday life. For this, I want you to have an open mind and forget the stereotypes you already know. The first concept is randomness, which is basically throwing a coin and getting 50% chance of getting tails or heads. It tells us that everything that has happened to this point of our existence since the creation of the universe the fact that the sun is at the perfect distance from the earth in order for life to evolve and get us here, that your great-grandfather made that step with your great-grandmother and brought you here, was completely their choice, a completely random bunch of circumstances that get us here. This sounds pretty accurate because, yeah, at the end of the day, we have the free will to choose what we trust, what we think, and our beliefs. But what if it wasn't? If there's this great amount, this bunch of the specific events for life to evolve to this point, if that looks so perfect, it may not be just a big coincidence. With this, we get to the other side of the coin, which is randomness. Determinism. Determinism tells us, by definition, that all the events that happen in our lives are completely determined by nature rules. So the fact that we're here has a bigger meaning than just us making our own decisions. It occurred because a series of events that happened before we made a decision get us to be here for a bigger purpose rather than just getting through these crazy paths of our own free will. So also with this example, what if the sun the distance of the sun with the earth wasn't just a coincidence, the fact that all these years that have been occurring through our whole existence was meant for each one of you to be sitting at that specific seat, hearing this TED, because you needed to hear something that will be said? Well, with this, we can go to some kind of conclusions. With randomness, we can know that this bunch of events that have happened to this point doesn't have a meaning behind it, and you have this complete free will of choosing whatever you want to do. If you can choose what you want to do, you are able to manufacture your own meaning, which is very important in this age for the teenagers that are here. If you choose determinism, this means that you know that everything that has happened happens for a reason, divine kind of events. So it is a bigger purpose than just us being here. It is something we may don't know, but we feel it. With this, we can really think about it because our society has lost the perspective of getting our own experiences by ourselves. The beliefs we have been completely distorted by the amount of information that we have been exposed to. If we let that get to us and annoy us, that's going to end up in nothing good. You need to really trust in something that is bigger than you and that is really helping you to be in a point that you are determined to be, or you can either choose to manufacture your own meaning and don't let nothing control you. You need to believe in something, but just believe. You need it. Because in this world, a strong belief could be the thing we need. That little step in order for us to get to something even more transcendental than just our existence through the years. So with this, I want you to really reflectionate about what you are able to really choose, really believe, and what could change with little actions if you choose randomness. Just a different bunch of decisions can alter all the effects that happen in your life and how it end up being. With determinism, you can trust that whatever you choose, it will be for a bigger reason. It will be for something that is meant to you. Thank you so much.
What do you think about your life? Hey, Vale, what do you think about the last two speakers?
They were okay. I loved the first one. The second one, it was a little bit curious. But I think that they're doing so well.
I don't know. I think because they are very talented.
Yeah, I know.
In personal, my favorite was the first speaker.
I think that too, but the second one, it was good, okay, too.
They are very talented.
You want to let me introduce the next speaker?
Yeah, I want to know.
Okay. The next speaker is a high school student. She's passionate and curious with a genuine interest in learn and grow every day.
She's always willing to listen and help in any way she can. She's excited to have new opportunities and challenges that allow her to continue growing and developing as a person.
With how society influences our identity, personality, and mental health, please welcome Ana Sofía Castillo Garcia.
Human beings are born with the most deep unconsciousness. No baby can live by their own. Since we are babies, we totally depend from others to survive, physically and emotionally. So much that it will take some years until our brain is fully developed to generate awareness. Before and after we generate this awareness, our parents and all the people we live around have been teaching us a lot of things, since values to the most little thing that you can imagine. A lot of these things end up being part of who you are now. Let's say some examples, like the responsibility, liberty, confidence, and wisdom, that all these together make a better version of who you are now. Also, when we start being aware of ourselves, we start making our decisions, our own attitudes, behaviors, and thoughts. And remember, the more aware we are of ourselves, the more light there is in our lives. Meaningless behavior are what drives us to be better as humans. Sometimes, a lot of people really get hooked by stereotypes, and more because of all this internet and social media we have access to. We forget that there are a lot of other different ways to connect with other people, respect each other, and help each other in order to grow. I think a lot of people really deep life and forget what's the actual point of living. Like Aristotle said, the objective of human life is to achieve happiness. We forget this more because we all make mistakes. We are humans and we make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we forget that some mistakes are good for you. Some mistakes may help you to realize what things did you do wrong and what things you can change so that doesn't happen again. With this, I want to jump to another topic. We suffer because we don't accept what's happening to us. And this is more because of our ego. We all have an ego. And this ego makes us believe that we can change our reality to our benefit. Our ego is like a mask of second-hand belief that we have been creating through our whole lives to adapt to our social and economic environment where we were born, raised, and developed in. When we are teens, it looks like our ego is in top peak of our lives. We start to notice a lot of things that we didn't before. We start to notice how the society acts and how the world works. And as I said before, it's more because of all these stereotypes that exist. We live in a generation where we have been through a lot of changes, technological changes and scientific discoveries, and we even lived a pandemic. Now that I'm here, I want to talk a little bit about the pandemic and how it affected us as youth. Well, we know that being developed in a four-wall environment, it's not an easy job. Also, the face-to-face interaction stopped, which really interfered in how we express ourselves in front of others or with others. Somehow, it helped a lot of us to discover a little more about ourselves, to find new styles, new genres of music, and a lot of new things. The bad side of this was that a lot of, since kids to teens and grown adults and everyone, started experiencing a lot of anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. This happened in one of the most important phases of our lives where we start finding our identity. Now, when we are teens or young, we start questioning ourselves. Who are we? That's a really good question. So I want to ask you all this question right now. I don't want you to answer, I just want you to think it in your mind. Who are you? Well, you may be answering, if someone asks you this, you may answer, my name is. I don't think that's the answer I'm looking for. But what now if I ask you, what things do you like? Okay, remember when I said before that our parents and people we live around have been teaching us a lot of things that you can't even imagine? Well, somehow, a lot of those things end up being part of the things that we like now. Like, I can say right now, like my dad showed me a genre of music, so right now I liked it. But how do I know if I really like something and it's just not to be able to be in a group of people and to connect with them? Okay, now I'm going to go. If you want to know a little bit more about yourself, there is this system called the Enneagram. The Enneagram is like a manual instruction of things that you have been creating through your whole life. A lot of people say that you are born with that Enneatype. You're already born with that Enneatype. Enneatype in Greek means 9 lines, which makes sense, because the Enneagram has 9 Enneatypes that are divided in 3 triads. The thought triad, the instinct triad, and the emotional and feeling triad that are the same one. I'm gonna start with the instinct triad that has the number 8, 9, and 1. Enneatype 1 are the ones who wants to be perfect, are the ones who want to be perfect. These kind of people are arrogant and critical. Their biggest fear or trauma is that they don't feel perfect. They feel imperfect. That's why they want to be perfect. And they are connected with the being serenity. Enneatype 9, the one who wants to avoid conflict. These kind of people are lazy and procrastinators. They are connected with the being proactivity. Okay, since now, I want you all to think about which Enneatype describes you the better. Enneatype 8 are the ones who want to take control of everything. These kind of people are aggressive, and their biggest fear is that someone else takes control over them. They are connected with the being innocence. The feeling or emotional triad, that are the same one, has the number 2, 3, and 4. These kind of people are really interested in their image. Enneatype 2 are the one who needs to be loved. These kind of people you could say that are really dependent and really proud. Their biggest, you can say that their lack is that they don't love themselves because they think that the act of loving themselves is selfish. They are connected with the being humility. Enneatype 3, the one who needs to have validation. These kind of people are narcissistic and false. They are connected with the being authentic. Enneatype 4, identified with the ego, the one who needs attention. These kind of people are self-centered and dramatic. They are connected with the being equanimity. And the last one, but not less important, is the thought triad. The thought triad has a number 5, 6, and 7. These kind of people are really obsessed with feeling secure and protected. Enneatype 5. They are identified with the ego, the one who fears to express their feelings. These kind of people are cynical and distant, and they are connected with the being indifference. Enneatype 6, identified with the ego, the one who fears to make decisions. These kind of people are coward and pessimistic. They are connected with the being courage. And the last one, that is the enneatype number 7, is identified with the ego, the one who's afraid of suffering. These kind of people are evasive, and they're connected with the being sobriety. And with that, I want to end my TED, and I'm gonna give you like a little bit of homework. I want you to research a little bit more about the enneatype that you think that describes you the better. Once you research about it, research what things you can change so you can be a better person, or if you want to change something, do it depending on what your enneatype says. After this, I want you to observe your results. Thank you so much for your attention.
Hey, Romina. I didn't know how much society influenced our identity.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And also in our mental health.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, I have a question for you.
Yeah, what is it?
Do you make your chores on time?
No, I don't really like to do my chores. I always do it late.
That's funny, because the next speaker is presenting the topic of procrastination and productivity with the objective to get a proper view on what goes on in every one of our minds in the modern day.
All of these hopes to together understand the idea of what it means to be productive and how to achieve it.
Please welcome Alejandro Muñoz Martín.
Well then, I'd like to start off with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., which says, "Change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through constant struggle." Now, I know my theme is procrastination and productivity. I understand that. But I find this quote so important for one reason. Because without the term procrastination, productivity, we wouldn't have to struggle for that change. We wouldn't have to change for something better so that we, as a whole, can progress. So now, let's understand exactly what is productivity, right? What is it? Now, I made this slide specifically for those who don't have this issue. So, of course, as you can see, it bases and centers upon getting things done efficiently, in a timely manner, in a way that minimizes the amount of energy lost. Now, you can see this principle throughout all of society. Let's say, for example, physics. In physics and mechanics, you try to get the least amount of wasted energy as possible. And it's no different from the human body, because we too are a type of machine, a machine with emotions, something very specific, very new, okay? And now, oh dear. Understanding procrastination, right? let's understand this concept as a whole. Now, procrastination, what it really boils down to is putting things off. Saying, I'm going to do it later, but you never do it, right? I know there's been so many students. I know everyone has been a student here. And you know that one project, that one time that you just didn't want to do it that time. You didn't want to do it that afternoon, and you said, you know what, I'm going to do it later. What happens when it comes later? Nothing. You don't do it. You know that there's consequences, but you never get to do it. Why? Your own mind blocks you in this sense that it doesn't help due to fear, anxiety, not doing things right, or maybe saying it's too much. I'm never going to finish. It's not possible, right? So, what are some causes of procrastination? What are some things that can cause this, right? Of course, anxiety and stress, some deadlines that you can't just meet, burnout. I'm going to focus a lot on burnout because us as students, we go to school constantly. We do these projects constantly, and it feels like we never get a break. Of course, we do, but we don't feel it because we're still with that looming sense of dread that we have to get something done, that there's still more to work on, that you're still in school even though you're at home. But if you just change, if you struggle for that, you can become better. And you can overcome this sense of dread, and you can relieve this stress, this anxiety that you have. Now, some effects of procrastination. Of course, just about everyone has felt these before. You feel that deadline that just never happens, the things that you put off, the low energy and low confidence. You don't feel like yourself. You go to school, let's say, with a project that you did last minute. Let's say you had a biology project, a PowerPoint presentation, and you showed up with a couple white pages scribbled on it some information. You go to the teacher and you say, here's my work, and she says, for what? Why? What is this? I gave you an entire day. And you say, well, I just didn't do it. So not only do others feel that you didn't get enough done, that you aren't enough, but you also know that you could have done better. Just about everyone knows that you could have been something more, something better. And what happened? It's gone. That's why the change is so important. It matters so much for us. Now, how to overcome this? Very simply, in simple terms, all you have to do here, set some small manageable goals. This works in many ways because it breaks things up into small pieces that are easy to take in. Let's say you have a 10-page essay and you say, 10 pages, that's not, how am I going to get that done? You break it down into parts. You say 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, the list goes on, and you take it one at a time, and you don't see it as a whole. Some of us who do chores at home, your mom tells you, do the chores, do all of this. And you say, wow, that's a lot. But all it really was is just, all I have to do is make my bed, wash the dishes, do just a couple of things, maybe clean up around the house, just broom and mop. And what did it take you? 2 hours. But you thought it would take you the entire day, maybe even tomorrow. It felt like so much, but if you just break it down into simple little pieces, as well as schedules here. Now, schedules are very important too. That's why us in school, we also have schedules. It sets order. It sets a purpose that every hour matters and counts towards something. You have this schedule, and you get a little tick off each box. You say, here we go, I'm doing this, and it's getting done little by little, but it's going to get done. It's something progressive that builds up over time like exponential growth. We see it a lot in interest, for example. You see little exponential growth that over time will take you to the moon, essentially. So, what are some time management techniques? Here we go, to-do lists. I like this one personally, because you can see everything that you have to do box by box. You can see every little tick that you did, and all of that effort that you put in represents that little tick, that little box, that sentence that says, I did this. And you move on to the next one and you say, here we go. Because I'm not scared to keep on going. Because this isn't too much for me. Because I can handle it. I can go forward. I can move on with what I have to do. Next one, scheduling tasks with breaks. Very important. I'm going to get into that right now, just after this. See, tracking progress as well, as I said. But I'm going to get into the methods that I can give to you that personally have worked for me very well. The first one being the Pomodoro technique. Now, what is this exactly? It's very simple. All you have to do is take 25 minutes out of your hour, your time, and you say, these 25 minutes, I'm going to work. I'm going to get this done. And then you take a 5-minute break. You say, here we go, we're going to do it in cycles. You take 4 of these cycles. Just 4, it's just 2 hours. And then you take a longer break. So you're breaking things up into parts so that then you can get the longer break and continuously take it in a way that you can manage it. So, what are some benefits? Of course, more time, less procrastination. It doesn't feel as daunting. The tasks feel lighter. They don't feel like they're as much as they used to be. You see them in the little bite-sized pieces that they're really meant to be. When we're eating something, we don't eat it all in one bite. It's impossible. That's why the saying goes, you bit off more than you could chew. You have to take it piece by piece, bite by bite, and over time you will get there. You will manage your goals. You will do something. Now, the final one here, this one's for studying, because I know it's very difficult to sit down for an exam, study all day, just keep on going. This one, the Feynman method. Personally, my favorite, because of one thing. You become the teacher. You are the teacher. Not only the student, but also the teacher. You get taught. Now, it bases on getting taught a source material, the basics. And then you move on and you teach it to someone else. You give it into their hands. And here's the flowchart right here. You teach it to someone, fill the holes in your knowledge where you made a mistake, and then you just review what you learned and you go back. The cycle repeats and it's a positive feedback loop. What it does is it gives you more power over what you learn and what you teach. Lots of benefits here, right? I move on, of course, the benefits. Here we go. Makes learning engaging, something that you can be proud of, something that you can be happy to do. What I mean by this is, of course, teachers know that when they give a class, they can make it fun, they can make it boring, they can make you write, they can make you participate, do something that you find fun. So as the teacher, you can see yourself, the student, and you could make this something engaging for not only you, but also the person that you're teaching it to. So it just helps both of you out. Now, reveals areas of confusion. Of course, you're missing something, you're missing a little detail. There it is. You remember what it is, you go back, you learn it again. The deeper understanding, this part is so important, that you properly understand it in your own way. Now, someone could tell you that the sky is blue, but you'd say, why? I don't know why it is. But if you become your own teacher and understand it to your own way, you'll say, now I know why the sky is blue. Now I know why everything is as it is. Because not only have I explained it to myself, but I've had someone understand it too. Now, before I go, I'd like to come up on the same quote that we started out with. Again, change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through constant struggle. The most important thing here is that we don't become a procrastinator to a super productive person the next day. That's impossible. It's never going to happen. It takes time, it takes effort, and most of all, most importantly, it takes struggle. You have to fight to be a better person, to change, to be someone new, someone you aspire to be, someone to inspire others. And that is the most important part of all of this. Thank you very much.
Hey, Vale, I heard that there was a special guest today.
Yeah, I think I saw something on the social media.
On Instagram, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But I still don't know who she is.
Do you want to know her?
Of course, yeah.
Let me introduce her. In this inspiring talk, our special guest shared her personal journey of turning aspiration into achievements.
She reveals how determination and a well-structured plan can transform dreams into reality.
Through relatable and actionable insights, please welcome Itzel Vianey Casillas Casillas, where her topic, Just a Plan Away from the Dream.
Hi, everybody. I'm pretty excited to be here. And I want to start by showing you this little girl. This 8-year-old girl, her name is Itzel Casillas. She was at elementary school. And one day, she just woke up and get dressed up for going to school. What she didn't imagine is that at that age, she was about to take one of the biggest decisions of her life. Yeah, I know, age 8 and elementary school. So that day, she ran at school. And when she was over there, the teacher told something about the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower, you said? Where's that? Well, that's in Paris. And if you want to go, you need to learn French. That idea kept into her mind. And she started thinking that she needed to have a plan to visit Paris. So that day, she decided she wanted to travel, to learn languages, and to go abroad. And as well, to go for politics. Yeah, I know, many things. I am going to tell you later on why. And what that happened is that she came into home and said, Dad, I need to start learning French. And he was like, no, you need to learn English first. And then Dad, actually, he said, well, okay, you can start learning French. Well, that little girl, it's me. Age had come, and then 1 year, when I was 20 years old, this all come to be a reality. At that age, one call was set up, a scholarship for going to Japan. So I think that little girl deserves to try it because that's her dream. So I try my best, I do everything. I set up the call, and guess what? I know, I wasn't a winner. So I had two options, two paths. The path on saying, okay, that's not for me, and going along, and the other path, which I said, I am going to try it again, but better. So next year, it came the same scholarship. I made it all again, and then I tried. I received a call. Yes, that call. The call that mentioned that I was a finalist. I was pretty excited. The girl of 8 years old, which wants to travel, was over there with me. And then I get to home and again say, oh my God, Dad, I'm one of the finalists. And he told me, if you think that you're winning now without doing anything, you're losing. So came into my mind. I have to be aware and planning my dream. If I want to reach it, I need to plan it. So I do my best. I went for the interview. That was a call called Rumbo a Japón. And when I was over there, guess what? I was selected. I was pretty excited. I liked it a lot, and I think that was a great opportunity. I see myself over there in Japan, and I came to home and say, Dad, Mom, I win it. And they say, you are not going to go over there. Well, why? They told me, you're a woman, you're the oldest from your sister, so I think you're not able. What are you gonna do by yourself over there? And I tell, okay, well, let's do a PowerPoint party. And I made a PowerPoint party mentioning the reasons I need to go to Japan. And at last, my mom said, you're not going to go. And I said, okay, Mom, if I don't take this opportunity now, will you give it to me later on? And she says, no. So anybody talk about it, and here's myself in Japan. I made it to Hiroshima. And when I was over there, I saw so many people that were so brilliant, and something came into my mind, the imposter. You're not good enough, I don't know why you win. There's many other people that do it better than you, and I was like really facing that kind of things. I know yourselves, you face the same thing, because we have all that imposter in our heads. So I reached to somebody and tell why I was selected. I need to know. And he told me, well, there's always people better than you. But what I need to tell you is that you have something that I haven't seen a lot. And it's that you want to share. You want to share what you've learned. And so I got a big responsibility, because now my responsibility was to share all the things that I have gotten. So I think, what am I going to do with this big opportunity I have gotten to myself? And then talking, we decided we are going to make an ONG. This ONG was called Jimun. It was an ONG with some volunteers making debates in many languages, going through the politics, debates, languages. It was my little girl going into a dream, more planned than ever. We made 5 editions, and we have more than 500 students per edition. It was totally free. Maybe some of you went over there. And then, when this happened, it was all volunteers that went over there. So I knew that my dream wasn't just my dream over there. It was a dream of many others. At that time, I thought, if we hadn't got the courage to run for this dream, this won't be the reality of many of the people that are here. So I find myself a creator of realities. And I want to show you these images, because I know the first logo that you can see over there, I know what you're thinking, it's awful. I do it myself. But I want to show you this because at the very first time on my leadership path, I thought everything has to be by myself. I didn't trust anybody. Then I knew, well, I'm not a designer, as you can see. And I said, well, I need to trust and delegate. Once I did that, these logos came out. My beautiful team made them for me. And I want to show this because this is the path that I have gotten into my leadership path. At first, I thought everything was going to be by me. And then when I delegate, I find out that so beautiful results can come out. And so I want to tell you that many things were happening over there, but you know, there was a little dream. That little dream to go to Paris. It was a big, big dream that every night I went to sleep. Since I have 8, I pray for God saying, please, God, don't let me die if I don't go to Paris. So one day, another call came out. It was a call to go to Europe to make a volunteer. So I made everything again and went it. It was very cool. But then they told me, you have to set up some options. I set up some in Paris, obviously, and then like 2 in Germany. What do you think it happened? Yes, they sent me to Germany. And I was like, God, I really want to go to Paris. But then I decided I was going to take one time to visit Paris by my own. I know what you're thinking, Mom was really worried. And then I try it myself, I go over there. There's a lot of stories over there. It happens to me a lot by traveling alone. But I think I wouldn't make it because I was really scared about the things that happened to me. But one day I think, I am not sure if I am going to be this close enough. So I made myself over there. And when I came there, I was getting into Paris, and I remember to see the Eiffel Tower, and I cried, as you can imagine. I was crying, and not for myself, but just for the girl that I was when I was 8. Yes, that big dream, that prayer every night. And then something came into my mind. What might be the next big dream? Life won't be just going to Paris. I need to plan another big dream. So the path came again. So I decided that as I want to have these things, I am going to share. I started by sharing and make a group with some people that would like to develop these international skills for them themselves, go outside. And so another great thing happened to me. I was 25. I received a call from the Senate. This call was telling, hey, would you like to be the president's advisor for the IPU? The IPU is like the UN, but for the senators and presidents from all over the world. And I say, yeah, for sure. When? 1 week from now. Okay, when? Where? In Serbia. Well, I didn't know where Serbia is, but I said yes. So I took that plane, I went to Serbia, and when I get over there, I was in pants, and somebody reaching to me and say, Miss Casillas? Yes, it's me. Okay, here it's your driver, here's your security, let's go. Aren't you too young to be the president's advisor? And I was like, no, I just turned 25. And then I suddenly think, whoa, I have security. Not even my mom cares about me like this. So I was like really worried. And the imposter again came into my mind and said, I think I'm not enough. Yeah, I'm too young. Yes, I'm a woman. So every single thing in my head came. I met so many important people as the president of Serbia, but I made something that made me feel calm. As I knew I am going to meet so many great people, I decided not to Google them, just that I can try to be aware of how they were and to just have a relaxed conversation. But every night I get into my room, I Google where I was with. And I was very impressed with the people I have met. But yeah, I received an invitation to work on Switzerland. I refused it, and then I'll tell you why. Then I decided my life was going to be a sharing experience. The abilities I have gotten, they are all for share. So since that day, I've been taking bridges from Mexico to all over the world. I had represented Mexico in so many forums in Peru, Colombia, China, Spain, UK, I don't know, there's a lot. But with the mission of sharing every single thing from Mexico all over the world. And people ask me, what's the secret? And I am going to tell you that I simply don't know. I don't know. But the only thing I'm pretty sure is this. I want to make an experiment. Which of you have a great dream? Raise your hand. Okay. So, what I know is that everybody has a big dream, as you can see. But what I can see as well is that no many of you have plans. And I know the secret comes to be when you have a dream, you need a plan, and that becomes a reality. So knowing this, tell me how many dreams do you have? Then tell me how many plans do you have? And then tell me how many realities you have. So what I can say is that the results are the only thing posted. The effort is not posted. And I'm not telling you that you don't have to do it. What I try to say is that next time that you see a person that you admire the most, remember he or she had faced many no's before a yes. So when you see a picture on Facebook on someone doing cool, or in Instagram, someone doing cool, remember you're just seeing the 1% of the efforts. The imposter will live with it, everybody, every day. You're just seeing the good news, but you're not seeing the processes. Trust your processes. And I want to tell you that this little 8-year-old girl that you have seen before, it's pretty excited about the woman she became. Because that dream that reached me at 8, it has been with me like forever. And I want to tell you this. A dream, it's pretty important, but planning, it's everything. So I really need to tell you that you're just a plan away from your dream. If your dream is big enough, you need to start planning now. And remember as well that next time that you wake up, dress yourselves, go to school or go to work, maybe that simple day would be the day that you take one of the biggest decisions of your lives. Thank you.
We were really honored, touched with your inspiring talk.
And also, we are honored to share with you this special moment.
We have something prepared for you to thank you for sharing your ideas in this magnum event.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, sorry. Thank you.
Querida audiencia, les informamos que ha llegado el momento de hacer una pausa para nuestro lunch break. Tendrán un receso de 20 minutos a partir de este momento y podrán disfrutar de un refrigerio en la zona designada.
Asimismo, queremos hacerles saber que durante este receso tendremos una presentación musical especial para quienes deseen permanecer en sus asientos y deleitarse con un momento artístico.
Una pareja de amigos, Moisés Chío y Leonardo Castillo, apasionados por la música, interpretarán algunas canciones de sus artistas favoritos.
Antes de conocerse, ambos tomaban clases de guitarra en la misma academia musical. Al entrar a la preparatoria, por casualidad, terminaron en la misma escuela y en la misma clase. Todo esto un acto del destino.
Tocaron durante un tiempo en una banda llamada Casa Gema, desarrollando sus habilidades musicales con presentaciones en vivo. Actualmente, Casa Gema se ha disuelto, pero este dúo continúa compartiendo su pasión por la música.
Una vez dicho esto, les pedimos regresar con puntualidad a las 10:25 para continuar con las siguientes charlas programadas, que prometen ser tan inspiradoras como las que ya hemos escuchado.
Muchísimas gracias y buen provecho.
As we love, we share love and made love. He doesn't seem to me like he's enough. There's just not enough of it. My darling, I can't get enough of your love, babe. Girl, I don't know I can't get enough of your love, babe. Thousand things I can't get used to. No matter how I try, this I know you get more. And baby, that's no lie. Hold it back down me. What can I say? What am I gonna do? Who show a feel when everything is used? What kind of love is this that you're giving me? Is it you kiss her just because you're sweet? Girl, all I know is every time you're here, I feel the taste. Something moves, scream your name, and what you got me to. Can't get enough of your love, babe. Girl, I don't know why. Can't get enough of your love, babe. Girl, if I could only make you see, make you understand. How can I He told me sweet lies, sweet loves, heavy with the burden of the truth. He spoke of his dream, broken by the burden. Blowing money fast, it won't last. Oh, wanna be your last. Ooh, blowing money fast, we might crash. I'll make it last, we'll be.
I don't wanna be alone. so golden. You're so golden. You're so golden. And I'm out of my head, and I know that you're scared because hearts get broken.
Sun's warm glow, sea salt flat, dreamy whispers, golden lights tap, crystal waves, laughter stands, twilight hope, hearts romance. Down to the sea, come down close to me. It's not, it's not. We move like the water flew, we get strong. It's not. Whispered low, dreams ignite, lights within, hearts unite, palms sway, moons embrace, twilight hope, hearts romance. Down to the sea, come down close to me. It's not, it's not. We move like the water flew, we get strong. It's not, it's not. It's not, it's not. It's not, it's not. Down to the sea, come down close to me. It's not, it's not. We move like the water flew, we get strong. It's not, it's not.
Apasionados por la música, interpretarán algunas canciones de sus artistas favoritos.
Sky tissue that I wish you saw. Sock captain, Mr. Know-It-All. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds I'll share. With the birds I'll share this lonely view. And with the birds I'll share this lonely view. And push me up against the wall. Young tuck girl in a push-up bra. Falling all over myself to lift your heart and taste your health, 'cause with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. Blood lost in a bathroom stall. A southern girl with a scarlet draw. A wave goodbye to Ma and Pa, 'cause with the birds I share. With the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. Soft spoken with a broken jaw. Step outside but not to brawl. And autumn sweet with call to fall. I'll make it to the moon if I have to crawl. And with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. That I wish you saw. Sock cap, Mr. Know-It-All. Close your eyes and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds I share. With the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view. And with the birds I share this lonely view.
fishnets. Now you only get it in your night dress. Discarded all the naughty nights for niceness. Landed in a very common crisis. Everything's in order in a black hole. Nothing seems to tease the past though. A bloody Mary's lacking in Tabasco. Remember when you used to be a rascal? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory. And those dreams, when as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them all. Flicking through a little book of sex tips. Remember when the boys were all electric? And now when she told she's gonna get it, I'm guessing that she'd rather just forget it. Clinging to not getting sentimental. Said she wasn't going but she went still. Like a gentleman had to be gentle. Was it a mechadabra or a betting pencil? Oh, the boys are slag. The best you ever had, the best you ever had is just a memory. And those dreams, but as daft as they seem, as daft as they seem, my love, when you dream them overflow. Where did you go? Where did you go? Where did you go? Oh. Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. Falling about, you took a left off last life lane, you were just sounding it out, but you're not coming back again. You used to get it in your fishnets, now you already get it in our trash. Described all the annoyance and niceness, a line of very common crisis. Everything's
Bienvenidos nuevamente a todas y todos. Esperamos que hayan disfrutado de este receso y por supuesto de la presentación musical. Ahora es momento de retomar la energía y continuar con esta jornada de ideas que inspiran.
Lo que viene a continuación no se queda atrás. Nuevas voces, nuevas perspectivas y más momentos para reflexionar, cuestionar y dejarnos sorprender.
Les pedimos amablemente que tomen sus asientos y mantengan sus teléfonos en modo silencio para disfrutar al máximo de las siguientes charlas.
Gracias por seguir con nosotros en esta experiencia TEDx. Continuamos. Now, it's time to introduce one of our most enthusiastic, creative, and energetic speakers.
At just 17 years old, she has a long list of hobbies, talents, and skills that reflect her active personality and her passion for exploring the world, helping people, and learning through her exciting adventures.
With her topic, Beyond Concrete, please welcome Isabela Oriza Martínez.
I want to start by asking you a simple question. How many of you have ever felt stressed, depressed, or stuck in your life, like you're just going through the motions and can't seem to break free? Well, this is because in today's world, we're all about cities and technology, and sometimes we forget about how awesome nature is. We often hear people talk about preserving nature, but sometimes the focus is mainly on how nature serves us. We see nature as a source of materials, food, water, energy, resources that, yes, are essential for our daily lives, and yes, we have to take care of it, but I want to invite you to think about something deeper. What about if we stop seeing nature just as a provider and instead saw it for what truly it is? Because nature is not just here to give us what we need. It has its own value. It has its own right to exist just as we do. As humans, we live our history close to nature. But with screens and technology, we move that away. Nature is in our memory and our genes. That's why when are close to nature, we feel like we come back home. Pay attention to the images and see how similar a nebulosa is to our human eye or our fingerprint to the trunk of a tree. See how impressively similar nature is to us. Okay, Isa, I get it. Nature is amazing, and it's more than just a resource. We gotta take care of it. But how else does it help me? How exactly does it make me feel? Here's the answer. In today's world, we're all about cities and technology, right? But nature helps us in psychology. I mean, in your body. In your body, nature, it's like a mood buster. It reduces your blood pressure and helps you to breathe easier, so you feel more energized and less stressed. Also, have you ever feel like your brain is a little bit confused? Nature cleans that up because it improves your focus, your memory, your creativity, so you think better and solve problems easier. If you are dealing with pain, nature can help because mental and physical, it's been shown to reduce your perception of pain. Just with the simple thing of connect and being present in nature, you can feel less pain. Imagine that. I think it's just amazing. I want to tell you a story. A long time ago, kids were used to play outside all the time. I mean, when I was young, I used to run, go cycling, climb trees, go out in nature. But now things are different because kids stay inside all the time. They play video games, watch TV, uses their phone, their iPads. And I know technology is fun, but it is not the same as being out in nature. Because when kids are out in nature, they move their bodies, they become stronger, they are healthier, happier. They learn a lot by exploring and being out in nature. They use their imagination. They create new games, new stories. They are just healthier people. But when kids stay inside, they miss out so many things. They don't get enough exercise. They don't learn by nature. They don't use their imagination as much as they can. So they feel more stressed and less happier. And they are just kids. So go outside, take a walk, sit under a tree, or just look up to the sky. Because nature is waiting for you. And it has amazing things to offer. Just with reconnecting with nature, we can improve our health. And I want to tell you something so interesting. When we are in nature, we can improve our creativity. We can create new things and be a better person. Because when you are less stressed and happier, you are a better friend, a better family, a better person. Because nature helps you to connect more deeply with others and make stronger relationships. Knowing all of this, how can I be more present with nature? Two things. First, let's talk about bringing nature into our spaces. Imagine your room, your home, your workplace. Can you add some plants? Even a small plant in your desk can make a huge difference because nature and plants clears the air and makes you feel calmer. Also, if you have a window or a balcony, open that window. Let the fresh air in and also the sunlight because natural light is a powerful mood booster and helps you and makes a huge difference of how you feel every day. And now, we just talked about how bring nature into our spaces. But how can I get out into nature? You don't have to take a big hike every weekend. Although, if you can, that would be super good. But you can make small things to be more connected with nature. Start small. Choose 1 or 2 activities to be in nature, like running, cycling, make yoga, or if you are not a person of exercise, maybe you can sit under a tree and read a book or make some art, because remember that the important thing is being out in nature and connect. Now, how can I make all of this part of my routine? Just 2 simple things. First one, make it social. Invite a friend, invite your crush, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, a family member to do all of these outdoor activities so you will be more interested to do it with that person. And the second thing, and I think it's the most important, is to be mindful. When I'm saying that being mindful, I'm referring to be present. Try to pay attention to the small details like colors, sounds, smells, because being in nature and connecting with nature is more than just big adventures. It's more about finding small moments of peace and connection in your everyday life, okay? So with this, and knowing all of this, I want to make a small dynamic with all of you. For this dynamic, please take a comfortable seat, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and I want you to pay attention to the next 2 sounds. Okay? Pay attention to the emotions that these sounds can provoke you. Close your eyes and see what happened. Well, you can open now your eyes, and probably with the first sound, you feel like uncomfortable or overwhelmed. But with the second sound, you may start feeling more calm and relaxed. This is because nature acts in our body neurological and hormonal level. So it generates feelings of well-being, right? Well, when we are in nature, we feel more calm. We feel more happier. And I want you to pay attention to these images, and if you know of what movie it came from, perfect. If you don't, this movie is Tangled and is from Disney. And I think this scene represents exactly of how nature can act in our human behavior. Because when Rapunzel gets down of the concrete tower, and the instant that she touches the grass, she starts feeling so excited and running and feeling like just so happy because she was out and connect with nature. And as a conclusion, I want you to leave you with this thought. Nature is not just here. It's not just a place to visit. It's our home. We are part of it, and it is part of us. So, by reconnecting with nature, we can improve our health, our happiness, our well-being. I want you to make an effort to go beyond concrete, beyond screens, and rediscover the incredible power of nature. Thank you so much. I'm Isabella, and I hope that starting by now, you will find a way to connect with nature.
Hey, Romina, how do you think the speakers are doing?
They're doing really well. They're very, very talented.
Yeah, but you know something? There's so many left.
I want to know them.
Well, let me introduce the seventh speaker. From San Francisco del Rincón, Guanajuato, comes a young man, not just asking what life is, but what it means to have a voice in it.
He's not here to hand out easy answers, but to spark deeper questions. Today, he shares his vision.
With his topic, From Whispers to Roar, How to Connect with Your Inner Self. Please welcome Enrique Sánchez Monterrubio.
So, to kick off this talk, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something that has completely changed the way I see my life and the way I reflect upon the problems that happen to me on an everyday basis. This is it. Please reflect on why do we think the way we do? Why we believe on things we believe on? And even why we carry out our everyday actions the way we've all done them. Think about it, please. Think how your personality fits in that question. Think how your identity, your persona, fits on your answer. Think about it, please. You may already have your answer, or maybe you don't. Don't worry, just keep that question on your mind, because by the end of this talk, I want you to be able to answer it. So today, we'll explore how to go from someone who whispers all the way to being someone who roars. And you may be saying, what on earth is this guy talking about? What I'm talking about, finding a voice, finding your own voice. A voice that allows you to be recognized, and a voice that allows you to change the world, not just for you, but for everyone around you. So, Aristotle, the great thinker, artist, and philosopher from ancient Greece, once said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. Let's reflect on that. Knowing who you are, knowing who's this fella, is the point of departure for everything that has been, for everything that is, and for everything that will be. I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Because, let's be real, How can we expect to understand other people's opinions? How can we expect to change the world and make it a better place if we don't even know who we are, if we don't even know what's happening here inside our minds? So, I've been talking about this concept a little bit. What is your voice? Well, I'm going to explain to you. Your voice, even if you want to believe it this way, isn't just the sounds that come out of your mouth. No, your voice is much more than that. It's your emotions, your feelings, your ideals, how you act around people, how you interact with them, how do you react when facing challenges. That is your voice. Yet, in today's world, many people consider that having critical thinking and individual thinking isn't as necessary as it once was. That in a world that's led by trends and collective ideas, being authentic is just a way to brag about yourself, brag about how smart you are, or even about your academic level. Well, I'm standing right here in front of you all guys to prove that statement wrong. Because the truth is, your voice matters. It matters much more than you think, and there comes a price when not using it. So, I've just introduced you to this problematic, the fact of not actually knowing how to use your voice. And what am I exactly referring to? Well, not using your voice leaves you vulnerable to low self-esteem, low self-doubt, and anxiety. Many people may try to manipulate you to their causes. But if you're already on that point of life, if you already have problems not only in your personal life, in your environment, but with people as well, there are many questions that you should ask yourself. Many questions that you should reflect upon and say, yeah, what have I done with my life? The first one is, what are the stories, and think about this, what are the stories that have kept you as an individual from speaking? What are the stories that had frightened you so much that you haven't been able to speak? Think about it. Please, think about it. So, now that we have that answer in your mind, ask yourself the second question. What are the expectations of your persona that have frightened you so much? That haven't allowed you to react, to face challenges? Think about it, and there you know how to find your voice. So let's say you take on this journey. Let's say you decide to begin this adventure. What is it you're going to find? What are the challenges that you will have to face? Well, finding your voice, even if you want to believe it this way, even is not creating a new version of yourself. No. Nor a brand new iteration of your personality. Not at all. Finding your voice is, as simple as it is, uncovering what was already hidden. Uncovering parts of your personality that weren't visible at plain sight. It's expressing the best version of yourself that you can give us. Not the almighty version, but the best version that you can give us. So that's what I'm talking about. It's exposing who you really are. So now, you might be interested on, okay, I take this journey, what is it I'm gonna find? What will be my gains? Well, when you take on this journey, you'll be noticed. You'll be noticed not because you're actively trying to, but because authenticity is rare and magnetic. People love those who know who they are and aren't afraid to show to the entire world. So, as I've already said, you start to stand out. But much more than being noticed by everybody around you, something much more important comes when finding your voice. And that's freedom, guys. That's freedom. Because with freedom, many opportunities start to appear, whether relationship-wise, on an academic level, wherever in your professional career. And then with opportunities, you start to have new leadership roles. And then you start thinking and you start wondering that you wouldn't have had all of these opportunities, you wouldn't have had such success if you had stayed quiet, if you hadn't done anything, if you hadn't moved a muscle. And at the end of the day, that's the beauty of finding your voice. The beauty of being the master of your story. The beauty of knowing how to rule yourself. The beauty of being something or in someone, an idol for one person. So, you may want some examples. I'll give you some. First, look at this photo. Look at this child. What do you see on him? Think about it. What do you see on him? We could say nothing remarkable, nothing authentic, nothing special, nothing that makes us fall in love with him, right? We'd say a genetic photo of a child. Well, that's actually Jim Carrey, one of the most talented and beloved comedians of our century. Here goes the second one. Look at this photo as well. Take a look at that. What do you see on him? So we see something special, you see something authentic. Maybe not. We could say the same. A little bit of the same story, right? A genetic photo of a child. Well, he's actually Barack Obama, one of the most talented, beloved, and important characters in geopolitics that has ever been seen. And you may be wondering, what does these two seemingly different characters have in common? Well, if you've been paying attention to this whole talk, you already have your answer. And that is that they weren't afraid to use their voice. They weren't afraid to give their opinions. They weren't afraid to be special. And at the end of the day, that's life. Life is an infinite quest to find someone or a group of people that's special to us, that can lead us, that we can aspire to be like. And that's the case with these characters that I'm giving you as an example. So, if you had to stay with something from this talk when you walk out that door, let it be this. Don't forget who you are, don't forget where you come from, and don't forget where you're heading. But most importantly out of all, don't forget to find your voice. Don't forget to own it, and don't forget to let it roar forever. Thank you very much. My name is Enrique Sanchez Monterrubio. Have a wonderful evening. Hope to see you soon.
Vale, what do you do to survive high school?
Well, I don't know, because I was so nervous when I got here. And I don't know if I was going to have friends or something.
It was difficult, right?
Yeah, it was so difficult.
But today I know someone who can help us.
Oh, tell me.
She's an 18-year-old woman who's currently studying high school. She's in the physics department and is very passionate about cinema and literature.
She aspires to have a major voice when she's older, to talk about important issues that surround our society.
With her topic, The Journey to Find Yourself While Surviving High School, please welcome Sara Elisa Garcia Bravo.
Okay, so I want to start this talk by asking you all something. Have you ever been dragged away from something you believe in? Have you ever been dragged away from your values, from what you really think, from your education, just to fit into some social group? Because I have. You see, learning from our mistakes is something essential in the journey of finding yourself. Something I didn't know back when I was a freshman. Back when I started high school, I used to hang out with the wrong kind of people. People who felt better than others, who felt the right to be mean to each other and to everyone else around them. I was a part of that. I am not claiming that I was any better then. I am not claiming that I am any better now. But I had to learn the hard way because one day, out of nowhere, they stopped talking to me. So I wasn't just alone by myself, but also with my actions, with my behavior, and everything great and super wrong that I have done in the influence of those people. This is why it's so important to understand that the school environment affects us in a much greater place than we think. We get to try to convince ourselves that we're part of something. We pretend that we're part of something just to fit in, just to don't get bullied or don't get like in the wrong eye of everyone. So we tend to put on a mask. So now I'm gonna ask you, have you ever had to put on a mask yourself? Have you ever had to hide who you truly are, what you truly believe in, what you truly like doing, music, your style, what you're passionate about? Have you ever had to hide that because you're scared of being judged? It's pretty easy to get into that scene because us teenagers are pretty vulnerable to every comment, to every interaction. We care too much about what people think, about what other people will think about us and say about us. But it's so hard to find that peace with yourself when you're vulnerable. And that's what us teenagers are, vulnerable. So we tend to make mistakes and just habits, people, and things that make us super bad around us as we are teenagers. And it takes the words out of us. We tend to recreate and normalize these actions as if it was something normal because we get taught that. We get told that if you do this thing and everything, you will get recognized or people will laugh, people will clap. You don't get how many times I had to just sit there and laugh and pretend that the joke they said about me or about someone else was so funny because I wanted to be a part of it. It's the human thing. It's the human nature wanting to fit in, as I did once. So it's really sad the way that we get it so normalized and we replicate those actions that were taught to us. And this obligates us to, as I said, repress ourselves, the greatest parts of ourselves. If you like music, you tend to pretend you don't. If you are super into fashion, you pretend you don't, and you tend to hide your style, who you really are. As I said, put on a mask and pretend you can be like any other person. And not everyone is the same. We have our own essence and our own thoughts, but we don't show it because we're scared about what they're gonna say. So why is this so important? When you face the worst parts of you, you get to understand and forgive yourself. It's super easy to just blame the other into a problematic. When we fight, we used to think we're in the right place the whole time. We're not brave enough to face our mistakes and make amends from them. And what I mean to face yourself, I mean the great parts. If you love doing something, if you're passionate about something, just chase it and be really proud of that. And the worst parts, I mean, working what you're not proud of. Work on yourself, do something for yourself, read a book, be better in anything that makes you uncomfortable to yourself. But that's the first part, facing it. So, it's uncomfortable to face yourself, as I said. Not everyone is brave enough to look into the mirror and see their flaws and go through life with that. We think that when we face our mistakes and stuff, we're just that. We don't see our whole person, but just our mistakes. And not everyone is mature enough to see the worst and the great parts of yourself. So, what if we want to find this peace? Why is it so hard? It's a huge step, but we have to amend these mistakes. Not only the ones you committed towards other people, but to yourself. The times you've been disloyal to yourself, the times you've been in the wrong, Heal the times that you have let other people be mean to you, that you have passed towards other people, and just understand and do something better about it. And this phrase is something that we hear a lot. Like, it's super cliche, I know, but enjoy the ride is the most essential thing in the journey of healing yourself. And what I mean, I'm going to give you a cute example that I saw a few weeks ago. This is Paradox of Praxis by artist Francis Alice. Okay, he made this work. He made videos and photos of him just like throwing a cube of ice, as you can see, into Mexico City until it was fully melted. You may think, what's the point of this if it's going to melt eventually? Well, he wanted to show with this that it's not always the result and the things that we gain, it's not always visible to everyone, but to ourselves. It's the things that we learn in the way that we take with ourselves, and we'll be able to be better because of that. The things we learn into the way of life. And my next point is, as Sir Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. In school, we get taught that if you get a degree, if you're in college, you'll have better opportunities of finding a job. And that's pretty true. Education will open up doors and give you a better life. I can assure you that. But knowledge does not only give you economic liberty, as we get taught. It gives you liberty of thinking. It gives you freedom of thinking, of having your own free will, of having your own opinion. How can you be so sure about an idea if you haven't done research, if you haven't been open to listen to other people's opinions, to seek other people's mind? How can you create your own opinion, your own fundamental opinion, if you haven't learned from anything? If you're not able to hear the other person's point of view, if you're not here to hear the other parts of the story. That's what makes us our own person, being able to take everything that we see and everything that that we have access to. As I said, education will make you free. Free from yourself, free from believing everything, free from people getting over you, free from everything that you can think of. So, doing research will give you a personality, a huge statement, and something to believe in. Knowledge makes you behave better towards everyone, even in education, even in the way that we speak, even in the way I'm talking to you right now. Will make you a better behave in every single thing that you can imagine. But not everyone is brave enough to face. Cinema, literature, fashion, culture will give you an identity. But not everyone is brave enough to see the world afterwards. Not everyone is brave enough to see the reality, because reality is harsh. What it's really happening in the world is harsh. What really happens to us is harsh. And not everyone is brave enough to open up their eyes and be gentle about it. So I'm gonna end this presentation by asking you, are you brave enough to embrace it? Are you brave enough to embrace yourself, the great and the worst parts? I want you to think about it. Thank you.
Romina, I am so sad.
Why, Vale?
Because this is the last speaker we're gonna have today.
No, really?
Yeah.
I don't want this to end.
Me neither. But for the last speaker of the day, we have a girl bursting with excitement about sharing her ideas with us.
She will take us on a journey through how essence, fashion, and social media are in constant movement. She will help us look within ourselves to find our true essence and feel free to be who we are.
With her topic, My True Essence, please welcome Nicole Vargas Aguirre.
I would like to ask you, When was the last time you added an item to your shopping cart? Did you really like it, or was it just a trend? When was the last time you learned something new? Or maybe the last time you invest time in yourself? When was the last time you really felt like yourself? All of us are influenced by our surroundings, and with the creation of social media, new generations have been affected because of the influence it can reach in our lives. We all know how internet influences our brain and behavior. All the time, we are receiving an incredible amount of information of all kinds. And our modern world is extremely fast. Everything needs to be fast. Fast fashion, trends, lifestyles. Internet is constantly telling you how to dress, what artists you should listen to this week, what trends are in and out this spring 2025, and even telling you how to live your life in the way they think it's the only right way. But this is constantly changing so fast that when you get used to one trend, 3 already supersede it. For me, it gets to the point where it ends with authenticity, creativity, identity, and essence. But what is essence? Essence is described as a group of characteristics that conforms our very own identity. It's the singularities that make us unique, and they are changing in the way we are too. I am not the same person I was a year ago, but there are specific characteristics that always stay. This concept of essence is strongly interconnected with our self-esteem, with our confidence, with our values and principles, and of course in our way of showing ourselves to the world. There are 3 big key pieces that conforms our essence: the biological feature, the psychological feature, and the sociological feature. The biological feature cannot be changed. You're born with it and it is in your genes. Let's say that it is generated from your parents. Now, the psychological feature is the things you believe in, the things you feel, how you feel, and our unique patterns of behavior that we learn while we are growing up. But we are more than just this concept. The sociological feature is how you interact and grow up in a specific context. It's your experiences, the things you learn, the things you like and the things that you don't like, and how you live your life in your unique context that is different from everyone else's context. Okay, let's see it this way. The biological feature gives us a body. The psychological feature identifies this body as ours. And the sociological feature gives us the tools to give it an authentic shape. For me, fashion, art, music, and are the pillars of our essence because of the power fashion has within its context, creation, and principles that resembles each other. For instance, the creative expression fashion uses to express and manifest conceptions is manifested by the use of color theory, forms, textures, visual illusions, and even storytelling. Fashion should be used as a social and political weapon, and of course, as a tool for communication. And through history, it has been used as such. We can mention many examples, such as Marlene Dietrich, who in the 30s broke away from the norm and wore pants and masculine clothing that was unsuitable for women. Or maybe David Bowie, one of the most important and influential fashion icons to this day for his way of playing with forms and colors and leaving aside the categories of masculine and feminine when choosing a garment to wear. And let's not forget about Mary Quant, the first women and fashion designer to launch the miniskirt on the global market. Fashion has evolved with us, becoming not only a piece of clothing, but a way of expression, through which we can express who we are and what we think, the ideas we are related to, and our own way of sharing and manifesting our essence to the world. We can see that fashion is a social, generational, and cultural phenomenon that influences and transforms the rhythm of the collective thinking, manifested in the way fashion and styles are constantly changing. Again, social media being one of the biggest causes of the fast spreading of them. In addition, the constant overconsumption and addiction to social media, to the exposure to new microtrends almost every week, and increasing pressure to look in a specific way, it is really weird to find genuine and real connections with people that are true to their essence. But please, don't get me wrong. Following trends is not bad or good. At the end of the day, we all just want this sense of belonging. It is human. But the way these trends start to categorize and enforce us to look, think, and behave in a specific way, to the point where authenticity is reduced to something cringe, makes me feel disappointed. But now, Nick, how can I find my essence? I will share with you the steps I found really helpful through my journey finding my essence. Just to make it clear, this is not a magic formula, but I hope this will help you in yours. Number one, you have to know yourself. I know, it's really easy to say it. We hear it everywhere all the time, but it can actually help you to understand and accept the way you are, the way you were, and setting goals for what you want to be. It's a really hard job, and I think it's a never-ending process. Again, we are changing every day, and we need to start seeing life with the eyes of a wandering child. Sometimes life gets so boring and serious. We wish we were everyone else but us. But if you really put yourself into paying attention to your inner self, into paying attention to your mind, body, and taking care of your relationships, you can really find things about yourself you haven't noticed yet. Maybe you realize that you need to improve your organizational skills, or that you are really good at helping others. I don't know. There are many treasures within yourself that you haven't found yet. Number two, start identifying the things you love. For instance, I love playing tennis, reading, music. I love learning new things. There are many different things that can influence the things you're into. The music, the art, and even your fashion. And these things aren't necessarily related with social media. Let's think about it. One great example can be the music, video games, art, or media your siblings or parents used to consume when you were little. As a consequence, the future taste in the media you consume will be essentially influenced by them. The music you listen to, and if it's related to a specific style, or if you're into any kind of subculture, can really say a lot about yourself, but only if you really feel related to the things you are wearing and the things you are consuming. If you really develop a sense of belonging while wearing your clothes, it can really convey your essence to everyone around you, even if they don't know a lot about yourself. Number three, try new things and make them yours. Personally, this is my favorite part. I really love trying new things, new styles, and exploring the vast world of fashion and art. When I see a trend that actually looks interesting for me, I really like to do a little research about it just to see if it can work. Because please, listen to me, stop buying things just because they are cute or they are trendy. Think about it carefully and ask yourself, what does this say about me? Why do I like it? Why do I want it? Maybe I like the color, or maybe it resembles the aesthetic of a concept I really like. Or maybe I just like the way it can look on my body, you know? The point is to feel it genuine and to feel it yours. Let's put a situation. Maybe all of your friends have the same t-shirt, but if you wear it, feel it, and make it yours, it can really convey your essence to everyone, and believe me, you will look unique with it. Because the key is to give it your essence. If you don't have an essence, it won't matter that you have the newest clothes every week. If you don't feel related to it, you will feel empty. And that's the problem nowadays. People don't question why they do what they do, or why they wear what they wear, why they believe what they believe. And that's why we have this existential void inside us. Number 3. Actually, this step will come naturally after step number 1, 2, and 3. And well, you are doing it. Because your confidence will be stronger than ever. Others' opinions won't affect you in the way they used to. And your self-esteem will be higher. If you feel good, you will look good. And most importantly, only the people that really thinks that you are cool and interesting will be near you. Your essence will be a magnet of happiness in your life. And you will realize that at the end of the day, others' opinions and the internet won't have the control of your life. It will be you and forever you. Thank you so much. I'm Nicole, and I hope you find your essence soon.
Hemos llegado al final de este evento TEDx Prepas La Salle Youth aquí al campus Juan Alonso de Torres. Queremos agradecer a todos los presentes por haber participado en este increíble evento.
Como siguiente, queremos hacer entrega de documentos, reconocimientos y regalos que tenemos para cada speaker del día de hoy. Como primero, tenemos a Eduardo Díaz Valencia. Como siguiente, tenemos a Roberto García Pérez. Como siguiente, Ana Sofía Castillo García. Alejandro Muñoz Martín. Isabela Oriza Martínez. Enrique Sánchez Monterrubio. Sarelisa García Bravo. Y por último, Nicole Vargas Aguirre. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes.
Con este momento, llegamos al final de esta segunda edición de TEDx Prepa La Salle Youth, celebrada aquí en el campus Juan Alonso de Torres.
Queremos expresar nuestro más sincero agradecimiento a cada uno de ustedes, a nuestras autoridades, a los oradores que nos compartieron sus ideas con pasión y autenticidad, los equipos organizadores que trabajaron incansablemente, a nuestros generosos patrocinadores y, por supuesto, a ustedes, el público, por su atención, su respeto y su entusiasmo durante toda la ceremonia.
Hoy hemos sido testigos de ideas que inspiran, que provocan reflexión y que nos invitan a actuar. Nos vamos no solo con nuevos conocimientos, sino con nuevas perspectivas, con la certeza de que cada voz cuenta y cada idea tiene el poder de transformar.
Gracias por ser parte de este evento que busca encender mentes y corazones. Esperamos volvernos a encontrar muy pronto con más historias que contar y más ideas que compartir. Hasta entonces,
Indivisa Manen,
lo unido permanece.
van a hacer?
Les pedimos a las estimadas autoridades que por favor aún no dejen el recinto. Nos gustaría tomar una fotografía oficial con los speakers, por favor, si es posible. Speakers, por favor, al escenario. Y si nos pudieran acompañar las autoridades que nos acompañaron, por favor. Igualmente al comité organizador les pedimos no dejar el recinto, por favor.